Hey, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hey, today is Sunday, February 25th, 2024, and I am now on day number 56 of my carnivore challenge. And it has been an amazing journey. On January 1st of this year is when I started this carnivore lifestyle. I call it a lifestyle. And it truly has already, in a very short amount of time, changed my life. I've told you in previous videos that I'm no longer having to take insulin, and I've cut way back on my blood pressure medication, and I feel good. I do wish that the weight was coming off faster than it is. And today we're going to talk about the importance of keeping a daily log or a journal, especially in the beginning when you start, any type of a keto or carnivore diet, so that you can see for yourself what foods are doing well for you and what foods aren't, because nobody is the same. We're all different. There are some people out there who can have foods that other people just simply can't have, and they can still lose weight and their body responds, very well. I have found out, I'm glad I'm doing this log, because I probably wouldn't have figured out what was going on if I hadn't. But I told you in some earlier videos about how much I love cheese, and that I couldn't wait until I could start adding cheese back into my diet. And I decided to do that a couple of weeks ago now, whenever I was talking about all the food that I would eat, I'd sit there and say, I had, burger patties and, but there were several of those times where I would add a slice of cheese to the burger patties, not thinking that would cause any harm whatsoever. But putting two and two together here, that is about the time that my weight loss stopped. And so as I'm looking through and going through my log sheets, I see that there are several days where I would add a slice of cheese to my burger patties, or on top of my scrambled eggs or fried eggs or whatever. And that is this. Now, it could be a coincidence, it's something to keep looking at. But it could be that the weight was just coming off so fast in the beginning because I really was, retaining a lot of water from eating unhealthy foods for so long. And then as soon as I started eating the healthy foods, just, all that water weight, came off, because I'm sure I was holding it like a sponge. And I'm down to the weight where it probably is just going to be a slower process from here. But it's definitely something to look at, the fact that, adding some cheese to my meals it really is the same time that I started seeing my weight loss just kind of come to a standstill. But again, the weight loss at this point in time is not the most important. I'm just not going to let myself get bent out of shape when I have a week where I didn't lose any weight, because, I'm definitely not putting any weight back on. I'm not gaining weight back, and I'm feeling amazing, the best that I can feel, that I have felt in my adult life. And so I'm obviously doing something right. And so I'm just going to keep on the path and keep trucking away. And that's all I can do. And then eventually I will get to the weight that my body wants to be at. I will find my perfect weight. It took me a lot of years to stack on the weight that I was carrying around. I told you at my heaviest point, I was 260 pounds. And so that definitely didn't happen overnight. And, there's not a magic wand, and I'm not going to snap my fingers and all of a sudden be at the perfect weight. This is a journey. It's going to take some time, and I just need to be patient with that. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying the newfound energy and my new outlook on life. I keep a daily journal, and I do more than just track my blood sugar and blood pressure. I write down what I eat, and I'm just going to give you a little sample. This is just one of the recent sheets. I think this came a couple of weeks ago. But like I write out my starting weight up at the top, for the week. And then as you see there, I've got a column for blood sugar, blood pressure, and food. And that's for every day of the week. It just so, you know, as I go through this journey, I can refer back to the weeks prior and see what my average blood pressures were, my average blood sugars were, and the foods that I ate. So if you see something that has a little bit of a jump the next day, you know, or that evening, then I'm going to look back and say, well, what did I have for lunch that could have possibly caused that? And at the same token too, you're going to see, you know, you're going to see the good and the bad with this stuff. You're going to see the foods that you respond to extremely well, and you're going to see the foods that you, like I respond to steak extremely well, you know, and if, I mean, I could eat steak every single day. I do like to mix it up some and have a little seafood and have a few, you know, hamburger patties. But I have noticed for me, anytime I have a ribeye steak and just a ribeye steak, I have the absolute lowest spike in glucose after you know, an hour or an hour and a half after the meal, when you're supposed to, you know, get your peak blood sugar, you know, from that meal. And so by far my body responds to that the best. And I'm seeing a little bit of a spike in blood sugars too on the days that I added cheese to my food. So, and there are trace amounts of carbohydrates in cheese. And so it stands to reason that, you know, I mean, it wasn't huge, but, you know, 5 to 7 points higher than my average spike after other meals, you know, and sometimes it may be even an extra 10 points from adding a little cheese to it. And with the weight loss stall too, that's just telling me right there, you know, hey, at least until I get to my ideal weight, you know, down the road, for right now, I'm going to back off and just stop the cheese altogether. I'm going to stay very, very strict right now with, you know, just beef, you know, steaks and burger patties, and then eggs, whether it be fried egg or a scrambled egg, or boiled eggs. I like to take boiled eggs with me to work. They're just easy to transport, easy to carry. And then maybe a little bit of fish, but I'm not going to add any sour cream, no cheese, you know, nothing like that to my food. I'm going to keep it extremely, extremely basic, extremely simple. Referring back to the logs all the time, that's how you know. That's how you know how how you're responding to this lifestyle, and it tells you, you know, all along your absolute best foods that you need to be eating more of, and the ones that you need to be more cautious of. And that's why I will personally always use a food log. For now, it's just not that hard to do. You know, you sit down at night before you go to bed and say, hey, what did I have for lunch? And write it in. And what did I have for supper? And write it in. You know, I check my blood pressure in the morning. I check my blood sugar in the morning. My blood sugar I'm checking all through the day because I have a continuous glucose monitor. But, you know, I log in my first blood sugar of the day, and then usually my last one before I go to bed. And that's it. That's how I keep track of you know, my journey and my challenge, and tracking my health. Of course, you know, the way you feel is the best way to tell. I can't wait until the end of this first 90 days, because like I said, I'm going to have all of my lab work done from my doctor again. And so we're going to be able to see what this lifestyle has done to, you know, like my triglycerides that were just so, I mean, they were scary. They were so out of control. They were scary. And my doctor was extremely concerned with the kinds of numbers that I had for that. So I'm looking for that to be significantly improved. I'm looking for my kidney function to be significantly improved. I'm a stage 3B kidney disease, and there are stories out there of people who have done ketogenic style diets, and especially the carnivore style diets, where they dial those carbs all the way down to almost zero, who have, you know, I'm not going to say completely reverse their kidney disease, but there are lots of examples out there where people have gone from a stage 3B to a stage 2, you know, and some of them even all the way back down to a stage 1. So, I mean, that would be significant. I will keep you informed, keep you posted. Every Sunday afternoon, I come out with an update on this journey, and I appreciate each and every one of you that have followed me from day one. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button and that little bell that's under it, and it will tell you each time I come up, with a new update. Share this information with others too. If you know of people that have some of the type, chronic diseases that I have, such as chronic kidney disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and say, hey, there's something here that might help you, because it sure has helped this guy. You've got to see me significantly changed, already in, 56 days. I mean, my first couple of videos, I know my energy level was not very good. And when I look at those old videos, I just looked sick. And I can tell you, I sure felt sick. And I just don't anymore. I'm feeling like a brand new person. So I would recommend this lifestyle to anybody. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.